Hi dear students, this is the fifth module of the subject EST 100 Engineering Mechanics. In this module, we will be dealing with rotary motion. Okay, now before moving into the core topic, we must have basic idea about these two terms. First one is rigid body. A rigid body is one in which the distance between any 2 points does not change due to application of external force on it. That means it won't deform if we are applying some forces and all. The position of the particle will not deform. You can see in this figure, B1 is now at this position and A1 is at this position. Due to some effect, it is rotating to a new position. Now this is the new position of the particle. The B1 is at this position and A2 is the new position of the particle A1. Now you can see the distance between B1 and A1 is not changing. That means B2 and A2, the distance between B2 and A2 will be equal to that of the distance between B1 and A1. If deformation of the body is taking place, then we can't say the body as rigid body. Deformation and all we will be studying in the next semester, third semester, that is in the subject strength of material or mechanics of solids. Now what do you mean by rotation? In this case, all the particles of the rigid body move in concentric circular path. The common center of the circle may be in the body or outside the body. These two figures are the example for rotation. In this case, all the particles of the body move in a concentric circular path. You can see the particle B1 is moving along this concentric circular path. It is moving from B1 to new position B2 along this curved path, and the center of rotation is at C. And A1 is moving along this curved path. The curved path may be different, but it is moving along a concentric path. That's all. Okay, there will be a common center of rotation for all the particle. Sometimes that center can be inside the body or outside the body. Here in this case it is inside the body. See, the center of rotation C is inside the body. Here you can see the center of rotation is outside the body. Okay, that's what is meant by rotation. Now kinematics of rotation. Now in this topic mainly we will be dealing with the different equations or kinematic equations of the rotation, as we have seen in the case of rectilinear motion. Same thing we will be seeing here. The difference is almost similarities there between rectilinear motion and the rotation motion, but here slight differences are there. That's all. Only notations are changing. The final equation will be almost same. You can correlate these equations with the earlier one. Okay. Now when a rigid body rotates about a fixed axis, its position at any instant can be defined by angular displacement of a certain plane of the body passing through the axis of the rotation. This is the three-dimensional case. You can see this is the axis of rotation. Rotation about a fixed axis I am talking about, and this AD, the line AD, that dotted line you can see at the center of this cylinder, is the axis of rotation, and a particle B is rotating about this axis, and it has covered a distance from B to B1 along this curved path with a time t. Okay, when a rigid body rotates about a fixed axis, its position at any instant can be defined by angular displacement of a certain plane of the body passing through the axis of rotation. Now if once this particle B rotates from this position B to B1, you can see, or B dash, whatever it may be, B to B dash, what happens is you can assume a plane here about the axis of rotation and the particle. You can see a plane A, B, C, D in the three-dimensional case. Usually in 2D case there won't be any plane. So you can assume a plane. Once it rotates about a circular path, what happens is this plane is actually moving along this curved path, and its new position is A, B1, C1, D. That is what is happening. So actually it is covering a radial distance, and the displacement in this case of rotation is marked by this angle theta. So theta is the displacement of the particle during the rotation. So this angle of rotation is denoted by theta and is expressed in radian. And one thing you have to remember is the unit of this angular displacement is always in radian, not in degree. That you have to keep in mind while doing the problems and all. You have to give the value of theta in terms of radian only. So so this theta is the angular displacement. So what about the total angular displacement once the body rotates, once the body covers one rotation, that is nothing but 360 degree. In radian it is nothing but 2 pi. Okay, pi is 180 degree, pi means it is 180 degree, pi radian equal to 180 degree. So actually 360 degree means 2 pi radian. So if a particle is covering a entire circular motion or complete revolution, what happens, it will cover a angular displacement of 2 pi radian. So in the case of 2D, you can see the same thing I can explain with the help of 2D figure also. Here you can see A1 is moving along a curved path to a new position A2. Now angle between these two, that is the theta. So this is the angular displacement in 2-dimensional case. Usually the problems will be in 2-dimensional case. We won't consider 3-dimensional case. So this is the angular displacement. This much angle is the angular displacement, and it has to be measured in terms of theta radian. Okay, that is very important. Now and this is the axis of rotation, as I have already explained. Now when a particles move from B to B dash along an arc of radius r, the angular displacement theta is as shown in figure. You can see as the particle move from B to B dash along a curved path, and assume that this distance, radial distance is r, radius is r, then it has covered a angular displacement theta. Okay. The rate of change of angular displacement with time is called angular velocity. We have studied in the linear case also, rate of change of displacement is velocity. Here in this case also same thing is the rate of change of angular displacement with time, t, is called angular velocity. As I have already explained, here the particle is moving from B to B dash at time t, and the distance covered is theta radian. So theta is the displacement, and time taken from B to B dash is t, small t. So the angular velocity omega equal to d theta by dt, rate of change of angular displacement. Theta is the angular displacement and t is the time taken for it. So d theta by dt, rate of change of angular velocity, angular displacement with respect to time is angular velocity omega, and its unit is radian per second. Initially in the rectilinear case its unit was meter per second, here it is radian per second. Now the angular velocity is sometimes measured in the revolution per minute. Instead of measuring in radian per second, angular velocity is sometimes expressed in terms of revolution per minute, RPM, and its symbol is capital N. Usually RPM is expressed by the letter capital N, and is given by omega equal to 2 pi n by 60 radian per second. If n is the RPM, number of revolution per minute, then omega, angular velocity omega, is given by 2 pi n by 60. This you can how this equation is coming is, I have already told that if a particle is covering a completing a one revolution, what happens is it is covering a displacement, angular displacement of 2 pi radian. So angular displacement for one revolution is 2 pi radian, and n is the RPM, so n by 60 is number of revolution per second. So during one revolution the particle is covering 2 pi radian, and within a second n by 60 revolutions are completing. So total number of revolution, total angular displacement per second will be 2 pi into n by 60. If n is given in RPS, sometimes it can be like that also. Instead of giving number of revolution per minute, sometimes in problem number of revolution per second will be given. So at that case there is no need of dividing this equation by 60, omega equal to 2 pi n, that will be enough. So be careful about this one. Check, cross check whether n is given in RPM or RPS. If it is in RPM, omega equal to 2 pi n by 60 radian per second, otherwise it is 2 pi n is enough. If the angular velocity is uniform, then angular displacement is given by theta equal to omega t radian. This also we have seen in the rectilinear motion. If we have a uniform velocity, what happens is there is no u and v, both will be same. The particle is moving with uniform velocity. Then if we want to find out the displacement, what we will do is we will multiply that velocity just with the time taken by the particle. So velocity into time will give displacement. So here also same thing is applicable. If the angular velocity is uniform, omega is uniform, then if you want to find the angular displacement theta, then theta is given by omega into t radian. Okay, now we will move on to the next case, that is the velocity is not uniform. Now the rate of change of angular velocity with time is called angular acceleration, and is denoted by alpha. This also same thing we have studied in the rectilinear motion. Acceleration is nothing but rate of change of velocity. So here in this case, angular acceleration alpha is rate of change of angular velocity omega. So alpha equal to d omega by dt. You can see the initially particle is at point A. Now it has covered a circle. It has moved through a circular path to B, and center of rotation is O, and the radius is r, and the angular displacement is theta, and angular velocity is omega. And you can see a tangential velocity marked here. Now angular acceleration alpha is given by rate of change of angular velocity with respect to time, that is alpha equal to d omega by dt. Now this can be written as, we know that from the earlier expression, omega is rate of change of angular velocity with respect to time. So it becomes d by dt of, instead of omega we are writing d theta by dt. So d by dt of d theta by dt. So total it is d square theta by dt square radian per second square, that is the unit, d square theta by dt square. So you can use this equation to find out the angular acceleration alpha equal to d square theta by dt square. And one more equation for the angular acceleration is alpha equal to d omega by dt. This is the general equation. Now I am rewriting this equation as d omega by d theta into d theta by dt. D theta and d theta will cancel, so the equation is same, d omega by dt. But d omega by d theta by dt is nothing but omega. So this equation becomes d omega by d theta into omega. So alpha equal to omega into d omega by d theta. So we have two equations for angular acceleration, and unit is same, radian per second square. One is, if you find the second derivative of the angular displacement with respect to time, then you will get angular acceleration alpha. Otherwise, if you find the derivative of angular velocity with respect to angular displacement and multiply with the angular velocity omega, then also you will get the angular acceleration, that is alpha equal to omega into d omega by d theta. The choice of this equation depends on the situation. Okay, when the angular acceleration is uniform, d omega, rate of change of angular velocity with respect to time is when the angular acceleration is uniform, d omega by dt equal to alpha, and d omega equal to alpha dt, and omega equal to if you integrate the both side, here it is integral d omega and integral alpha dt. Alpha is constant, so what becomes is integral d omega is omega, and it becomes alpha t plus constant of integration c1. Alpha is constant, so we can, since it is given angular acceleration is uniform, alpha is constant, so can be taken outside the integral. So integral dt is t, so alpha t plus constant of integration, where c1 is the constant of integration. If at t is equal to, now we want to find this value of this integration constant. So for that we are using this condition. If at t is equal to 0, omega equal to omega 0. Omega 0 means initial angular velocity. Okay, if at time t is equal to 0, the velocity it is initial velocity, that is omega 0. Now omega 0 equal to alpha into time is t is 0 plus c1. So c1 equal to omega 0. From this equation we will get omega equal to alpha t plus omega 0, or omega equal to omega 0 plus alpha t. This is one general equation you have to remember. The same equation we are using in the rectilinear motion, that is v is equal to u plus at. I think you are remembering that. So same equation here it is coming. Omega is the current angular velocity. So, and omega 0 is the initial. Omega is the final angular velocity. Omega 0 is the initial angular velocity, and alpha is the angular acceleration. So omega equal to omega 0 plus alpha t, that is v is equal to u plus at. This is same as the equation that we have used in the rectilinear case. Now next